In this lesson, we're going to review creating a content type, and we're going to make sure that that content type references the food sensitivity vocabulary so that we can use it to structure how this content is displayed. The content type we will create is recipe. Let's go ahead and do that now under Structure, Content Types, Add Content Type. Under Submission Form Settings, we're going to change the title field to Dish Name. Under Publishing Options, we'll disable Promoted to Front Page, and under Display Settings, we'll disable Display Author and Date information. Under Menu Settings, we'll disable Main Navigation because we don't want these recipes added to the main menu. We'll go ahead and save this. We're going to add a couple of fields here. First, we're going to change the label on the body field to Directions. We'll scroll down and save this. And now we'll start adding fields. We're going to add a plain text field for ingredients. This particular field is going to have an unlimited number of values because there may be multiple ingredients. And we have all the normal field settings here. You'll see how it'll display, and we'll save that. The other field that we need to add here is the food sensitivity term reference. This field already exists because we created it in the article content type. So we're going to reuse an existing field, and we're going to look for taxonomy term food sensitivities. We're going to leave all of the settings the same as what we've done before. Save this. And now we have all of the key fields that we need for our recipes. Let's go to Manage Form Display and just make sure that everything looks the way that we want it to. We want the dish name to be a text field. We'll keep that as it is. We want ingredients to show up before directions. And we may also want food sensitivities to be the first thing that displays. We're going to change Select List to checkboxes. And on the Ingredients field here, we're going to increase the size of the text field because some of the ingredients might be kind of long. So we'll just add a little bit to it, change it to 100, update that. And that's enough. We can save this and be happy with our form. Now that we have the recipe content type, we can take a quick look at what it looks like to add content. So we'll go to Content, Add Content, and then choose Recipe. And we can see what this form looks like. It's pretty straightforward, nothing wrong with it. For the next lessons, and in order to really set up this functionality the way that we want it to behave, we need a few recipe nodes to exist so that we can see how everything works. Rather than sitting here and creating one node at a time, I'm going to use a module called the Devel module, which is very helpful when you're building a site for the first time and you need sample content in place. Let's look at the Devel module on Drupal.org. We can see that this module is definitely one that has a lot of activity. If you look at the reported installs, there's over 211,000 sites using this module. So let's go ahead and download this module. We need to grab the Drupal 8 version. We're going to download that. And now that we've downloaded it, we'll head over to our Finder, extract this, and then drop it into our modules directory. Now we can go back to our site and go to the Extend tab here, find Devel and enable it. Not only am I going to enable the Devel module, but I'm also going to enable this other module here, Devel Generate. You'll see in the description that it says Generate Dummy Users, Nodes, Menus, Taxonomy Terms. In our case, we want to generate some dummy nodes so that we have something to develop with. So I'll check that off, and I'm going to save both of these. I'll find the Devel tools under Configurations, so we're going to head over there. We'll scroll down to Development here, scroll a little bit further, and what I'm interested in right now is Generate Content. I'll check off Recipe, and we might as well do 50 nodes. That's perfectly fine. We can leave all of the settings as they are, and now we'll go ahead and generate. We now have 50 recipe nodes. If I go to Content here and sort by type recipe, I can filter that. You'll see that we have a lot of content here. If I click on one of these, it has all of the fields filled out as they need to be. I do want to point out a bug here. The Devel module is pulling tags from different vocabularies and not just from the food sensitivities vocabulary. If we try to edit this node, it will correctly only allow us to choose from actual food sensitivities. But since we're using this for development purposes, it's okay that there's a little bit of a bug in the module. This is something, however, that we would want to report on Drupal.org in the issue queue. Now that I have a bunch of nodes that use the terms that I'm looking for, if I click on one of these terms, such as dairy-free, I'll see a page that has all of the content listed on it that uses the dairy-free term. This is the term page, and since the term is an entity, it can also be modified. Let's take a look at this. So I'm on the dairy-free term right here. Let's go back to structure, down to taxonomy, food sensitivities. And now that I'm looking at the terms for food sensitivities, I see up here at the top that I also have manage fields, manage form display, and manage display tabs. So this allows me to actually add fields to these terms and to manage the way that they display. This means that I could put, for example, an image at the top if I wanted to, or I could put other fields in here for other types of information, such as external resources on this particular food sensitivity. This can be incredibly useful for setting up the structure of your site and making it really easy for users to find the types of things that they need. In this lesson, we reviewed creating a custom content type and set that content type to reference terms from a vocabulary. We also looked at how those terms are entities into themselves and have their own pages in our Drupal site.